about dog breeding. Dog breeding now is not what dog breeding was 20 years ago. They don't really have, I'm gonna be real, they don't have what it takes. What is your goal behind this? So if you're not trying to get better, this is probably just not for you. You're gonna build a good foundation. If you don't have a good foundation, your house is gonna crash and burn. So we're gonna run through it and we're gonna put it down. We're gonna set it straight on what this is, right? Let's get things started here. I've had a bunch of people, my last sit down talk has kind of taken off a little bit. It's at about, I think, 224,000 views or something. And I haven't even done another sit down talk to just give y'all a ton of information, because I would like to say I know a little bit about what I'm doing. And I just love to help people and give y'all so much knowledge, because what else? Why would I just keep it to myself? So I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna do another one of these. I have a bunch of people come to me and ask about dog breeding, what it's like, getting into it, should you get into it? So we're gonna cover what dog breeders won't tell you. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything. But this little girl, actually the last time I made this video, I had another puppy that looked almost exactly like this one. Her name is Callie. Absolute amazing dog. She has been above and beyond. Personality is perfect. Structure, her head, everything is just amazing. And in our last litter, this little girl, her name is Aspen, caught my eye. Her blocky head, super well proportionate. Golden Doodle with an amazing personality. I mean, I'm training her. She's gone and done amazing already. So I'm super excited for this little puppy. We're gonna see what is in store for her. And maybe I'll make a whole nother video just about this dog. But we're gonna get into dog breeding. So let's talk about dog breeding. Let's talk about if you wanna do this, if you really wanna do this. That's the biggest question, because I think a lot of people think it's a great idea, but they don't really have, I'm gonna be real, they don't have what it takes, and they don't wanna do it. They just love the quote unquote money, or the quote unquote, I'm playing with puppies all day, and that's really just not it at all. So we're gonna run through it and we're gonna put it down. We're gonna set it straight on what this is, right? So you wanna be a dog breeder. The biggest thing I was told by a very experienced dog breeder that has been doing this for about now probably 15 years, 10, 15 years, was the biggest thing he told me, the first thing he told me, take it slow. Every dog breeder that is reading or watching this right now knows exactly what I mean and knows it fully, like, yes, that is so true. To someone that hasn't bred dogs, you probably understand me, but if you decide to do it or you've already done it, you will understand it more once it's already in process and you follow the take it slow principle of everything. And so I listened to him. I was like, all right, yeah, I should take things slow, whatever. We'll see. I love dogs. I want to have a bunch of puppies. Let's just have fun with it. Okay, and I did take it slow. And every day that I do this, I'm like, thank God I took things slow, because I looked at other things that I were gonna maybe do. And I was like, that would have been too fast. I just needed to learn things that even reading every book that I could possibly read would not teach me without actually just going and doing it. So the biggest thing is you got to get your feet wet and you just got to step in and do it. But before you do that, we need to make sure you're the right fit for it. The one hard thing about dog breeding is it's so time consuming. It's hard to really work another job. Even if you have one litter, it's really hard because it's just so much time. It's not that you're working all the time around the clock. It's just you have to be there like at weird times that you can't really calculate. It's just like, oh, she might be having birth like right now, or she might be having birth like later, but you don't know exactly when the dog's gonna go into birth. But when she does go into birth, you need to be there. You can't be going and working somewhere else, because you need to be able to watch yourself. If you want to be a dog breeder, it's hard to have a job where you're not able to work from home. If you can work from home, dog breeding can possibly work for you, but you definitely need a job where it's flexible, so that then you could take dog breeding to the next level. Dog breeding now is not what dog breeding was 20 years ago, and this is why. Social media is your way, okay? Social media is the biggest thing to progressing your dogs, progressing everything that you have. Even if you have the greatest dogs in the entire world, if you can't show them to the world, then it really means nothing. The whole selling them on Craigslist or selling them on Hoobly or something like that, or other dog kind of websites, you just shouldn't do it. It's not really the best way. You want to build a community that wants your dogs. That's the best way. You need to bring quality to the game. If you're not bringing quality, then you're going to get thrown to the side at the end of the day. And that's just the truth. Because there's so many people trying to kind of do this. You have to set yourself apart. You have to give them the real, honest, and the best dogs out there. And if you're not trying to do that, if you're not trying to better just dogs in general, then it's really not going to work for you, because this game, it can be profitable, but if you're doing it for the profit, dude, I'm telling you, there are so many other businesses that you could go get into that'll be better for you than to do this, because this is not a game that's going to get you super, super rich, super fast, okay? If you don't love dogs first, it's just not going to work, okay? Dogs have to always be the first thing and the first priority. If money's the first, I'm sorry, but I could name out 40 other businesses that you should go do, because this is not the one for you. I just want to cover the hard hours, okay? That's the biggest thing that people don't really talk about. This is just like running a farm or something like that, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a holiday, it doesn't matter if it's raining, snow, sleet, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's hot as all get out. The dogs have to be taken care of. I don't care if you want to go to the beach for a week. If you don't have someone to take care of the dogs, you got to stay home. At the end of the day, if you have a litter, you can't go really on vacation, or you can't just decide I'm going to fly across the country. This is a job that is for a specific person that loves dogs, but also loves taking care of them and expanding. That is the one, I would say, hardest thing. Not hardest, but it's just something that you don't really realize until you get into it. Is like, oh gosh, I have 2 litters right now. I'm not going nowhere. I don't care if someone is having some crazy birthday party or event where I would have to travel for a long distance. Unless you have someone that you could trust, which is a very good thing to find, but it's hard to find. If you can get someone that you can trust to take care of your dogs, that would be the best thing ever. And then they can watch over your dogs. But if you don't have that, if you've got puppies and you've got multiple dogs, it looks like you're staying home. So that's another thing that you have to understand about this business is it's a lot of hours. It's not like you're working 24/7 like all the time, but you just have to be there and be in it and around it, just to make sure everything is fine. And another thing that a lot of people and I kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but is this your passion? That's the thing. Like, if you don't already have a dog, like I have this little dog literally right here. But I've always had dogs my whole life, before I even thought about dog breeding, before I even thought I could possibly do it. If you don't have a dog and you're not already a dog person, like you just love dogs, it's really probably not going to work for you. If you're just going to get into it because, oh, it sounds like a good business, or I saw this other person and he's doing really good at it and it's profitable. I'm sorry, but like, if you have a litter of puppies, customers are going to come to you. Families that are getting a puppy from you are going to come to you, and they're going to be like, oh, what's the best way for this or that? And if you're like just still trying to learn about a dog and how to train a dog or how to act around a dog, you're not going to be able to fully give them the right information that they need to prosper and succeed with their puppy. So you need to have experience just with dogs in general, about training or just health overall, or if the puppy is throwing up for some reason, you need to be able to give those families that just got a puppy good advice on how to fix those problems, because you will have that. You're gonna have a puppy that maybe bites a little bit too much, just nips at a family member, and they're like, hey, how do I help with this? Or, oh, this puppy is just not really good in the crate. Do you have any tips? Like, oh, this puppy is peeing in the house a bunch. Do you have any tips on how to house train a little bit better? Like, you need to already have gone through this process of just regular dog training and having a dog, so that when families come to you, you can give them those tips. So you really have to have a passion for dogs, and you have to be a dog person. If you're not that, it's okay, but this is probably just not for you. Come here, Aspen. So the other thing that you have to take into consideration is, what type of dog are you breeding? Are you breeding a dog that's kind of rare, not really many people know about it, or are you breeding a golden doodle, or are you breeding a dog that is a very high drive, big, very dominant type of dog. All those things are very important. Another thing that's very important is, are you breeding a dog that has a lot of health issues, or when they're having pregnancies, they have to have C-sections. That's a lot of other complications that can come into the playbook. So that's something that you really have to consider. For example, French bulldogs, or just bulldogs in general, they're amazing dogs. They look so cool, but they do have really big heads, and they're a really small body. So most bulldogs or French bulldogs or any of those type of dogs have to have C-sections. And they're also naturally, usually, I'm just saying usually, not very good moms. And that's a big thing. That means more time that you have to be there and help the mom nurse the babies or take care of the babies and make sure they're fine. I breed Golden Doodles. They have been amazing for me. They're a very popular dog, which is good and bad. But they're very good moms, and they also they birth really easy. They don't have any of those problems, but that's something you have to consider. Another thing is, are you selling a Belgian Malinois or a humongous bully, or a pit bull? Now, those are type of dogs that are amazing. I love those dogs. I've been around them. I don't have them right now, but maybe when I get older, I will, and live a little bit more life, get another dog breed or something like that. Maybe I'll get one of those. The thing about those is they're very high drive, they're very big, they're very dominant type of dogs, and not any type of person can just get one of those. And the problem is if that dog goes out and bites another person because the person just doesn't know how to control the dog, that might come back on you as a breeder, and that's just something you don't want. It is very important the type of dog that you're breeding, because you don't want that to cause problems. There are a lot of people that breed bullies or Malinois or any of those type of dogs, or like protection. When I say bully, I don't really mean like the regular. I'm talking about the XL, the type of dogs that they're using for protection work. Those dogs are amazing, but if they're put in the wrong hands, they're not good. And so those can cause problems. I know there's a lot of people that breed them, and that's amazing. You want to make sure that they're going to the right home, which is why you should always have a puppy application, so you know who your puppy's going to. It's just not some stranger, and you don't want your dog to end up in a shelter, because that's just not good for anybody. All right, so another humongous thing that you always need to have, and this is a big goal to have in your mind and have even written out, is what is your goal behind this? My goal behind breeding is to produce and give to families the greatest family dog possible. That means overall look, temperament, which really temperament's more important than look, temperament, and health. So those things need to be very important to you. And when you're breeding, when you're putting two dogs together, those two dogs should be making a better version of themselves. So every litter that you have, your goal should be to make that litter better than the last by selectively breeding better dogs to better dogs. My goal is to have a better Golden Doodle in the next 5 years than I have right now. Every litter that I have of Golden Doodles needs to be better and better and better. And that's from getting better dogs, keeping back better dogs, and just selectively breeding and getting better and better and better throughout the years. That should be your goal. If you're not trying to get better, this is probably just not for you. You shouldn't be doing it just to produce tons of puppies. I try to keep my litters to about 1 to 3 pup litters at a time, 3 like max. Because if I'm not able to give each puppy the amount of attention that they really need, then it's really just not worth it. If I'm going bigger than that, I feel like, me personally, I just can't give them the amount of attention that I feel like they need. So really, I try to even keep it less than 3. I've actually only had 1 litter at a time, but I know like later this year, I think I'll have 2 at a time. But I really like to keep everything a little bit smaller, but really, really good quality. Always quality over quantity, and that will pay off so much in the end. Taking things slow and perfecting every little thing, and then building off of that. You want to build a good foundation at the beginning, and then build off of that. You will really understand that once you get into this. If you don't have a good foundation, your house is going to crash and burn. It's my biggest tip to someone, and something that they won't really tell you, is start with females. And this is the reason why. You want to start with a really good quality female. You can find tons of good studs around, but if you don't have good females, good moms, with good genetics, good health, and good structure, it's hard to really build off of that. So I would say I have built my whole line off of Dakota, and then I keep back all of Dakota's line, quote unquote, are going to be females, and then I'm going to breed to outside males. The other good thing is build a connection with a person that has really good studs. Some breeders actually do almost just studs, and that's kind of what they do, is they'll just stud out the people, and that's another route that you could take. I don't know much about that, so I can't really talk about it because I don't really, it's just not my place. But for me personally, I built it all off of females, and then you can stud out to other people. You can find a good stud to breed to, but that's the best way to really start. And then, like, I just bought a male. His name is Merritt, and then we're gonna breed him to all of Dakota's line. And then you don't have to. You're keeping it kind of organized. I want to touch on social media again. The other thing that they won't tell you is how much time you're gonna spend on social media and on your phone, texting people, going over Instagram pictures. The other really important thing to do, invest in a good quality camera. Your Instagram portfolio, your TikTok, your YouTube, all of those are going to be so important for your thing. Everything is moving towards social media. So really, if you don't understand social media, take time to figure it out and understand it, because social media is going to be your biggest thing for success. So that's the one thing that's kind of changing with dog breeders, is everything's going to social media. And the problem with kind of older dog breeders is they don't really understand how it works. So it kind of hurts them. So you really want to get and understand social media and ins and outs, because that's going to be a very big part of your program and showing other people your things. Obviously I didn't even touch, I could go on for hours about dog breeding and about all the ins and the outs of it. But I just kind of want to hit some key points. Social media is going to be very big. I want to just emphasize that even again. It's going to be super important. If you don't have good social media, it's kind of hard to do any of this. So social media is big, but always quality over quantity. Always push for a better dog and a better, just for me, it's a better family dog. Always push for better. If you're not striving for the best, there's really no point in doing this. If you have any questions, just drop a comment. Make sure to smash this like button and push subscribe. But thanks for watching. And if you have any other questions, you can always DM me. You can send a comment. And I'll always love to get back to that and help y'all succeed and win the day. So let's go.